All right, we'll give that a shot. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Barr Run Forge. Hold on a second. Is that better? All right. Well, let's hope everybody can hear and see. Let me turn the camera a little bit. Give that a shot. Okay, that ought to work. Can everybody hear me okay? Well, if I can, I'm just going to go ahead and say hi to everybody. Mr. Kyle Jones, Mr. Jeff Woodring, Dana Maggiore, Ben Strickland. Hey, Ben. Mr. Roger Caldwell. Eric is here. And I think I got everybody. So I'm looking at the chat down here. We've got the phone over there, and I forgot to put it on the different orientation, and it was already locked in, so I couldn't get out of it. And you guys are here in the Green Woodworking Shop. Eli is still at camp, and I'm still technically recovering from surgery. I will give you a good report, and the good report is I am clear on all cancerous cells, so the pathology is clear. I'm good to go there, and excited for that. I mean, God has definitely blessed us in that way, and we got the all clear on that Monday, and then yesterday went to the doctor, and the doctor said that went to the other doctor, which was the plastic surgeon, the guy who did all the grafts and everything like that. Said everything was okay. I'll not gross you out with the thing on my arm. You may see it, but they said go ahead and expose it and let it heal. The nose, I just today started wearing my glasses again. It has healed tremendously, so that's good on that. A little bit of scarring up there, a little bit of scarring right here where they did took the graft from. Other than that, we're healing up and things are going well. I got the all clear from the plastic surgeon to go ahead and resume activities as tolerated. And I'll tell you, I did a few things today that I don't know if I should have done or whatever, but it did. It did feel good to do a few things, and it was a little sore afterwards. But I think after a little bit of just working with it, I'll be okay to do that. I'm still going to pay attention to it. I'm not going to overdo it. They did say 3 weeks or more before I could really take on activities. So that's a positive on that. I'm going to say hi to Jeannie Caldwell and Matt, who's got Frank Strock. Frank and Matt are watching, and Jeff Killian. So we got the Jeffs, and we got Frank, and we got Roger and Jeannie Caldwell. So we got a good crew in here. I know this is not your typical live stream for us, but like I said, Eli is at camp. I'm not permitted to do any serious heavy activity today, so I thought, you know what, we were going to try something. We've got this new little section here in the wood shop, about 70% done. I just got the wood to finish another wall. Obviously, you can see the ceiling is not done, so we're in the process of doing that. I'm not going to give you a full sneak preview. This sign behind us right here is actually a Christmas present from my bestest friend in the whole wide world, Mr. Tracy Elam. That was my Christmas present for him. We were already going to do this wall in here, and I thought, man, I need a really good place to put that. So this is it. The hope is for this area here, this is going to be the green woodworking area. We'll be using the froze and the draw knives and the shaves and the different kind of adze. We're going to be using those in here. Basically, like I said, green woodworking. It to be planes and carving stuff. This whole area will be for honestly an area where I can just come and chill. It's not going to be the radio blaring. It's not going to be movie going. I intentionally put one outlet on that wall and one outlet on that, actually two, one and two. And then we're going to do some other lighting in here. I do have a switch to change the lighting up in here. It's not too bad. I'm not too disappointed with that right now. I've got a carving, not a carving bench, but a woodworker's bench over there. That's going to stay in here. It's got the two wood vices on it and the dog holes, the peg stops, hold fast and things like that. So that's going to be set up in here. In one area, I'll have a shave horse in here and a carving bench. So this area will really be very, and I hate to use the word primitive, but very, very much simple in its use. So I'm not going to go too crazy into that. We've got plenty of stuff to move around and change, and I've got wood to bring in here, wood to move out of here. For those of you who know, the great big black tool cabinet is directly in front of me, and we've made a decision that that needs to go again. It needs to go away, and we're going to do a workbench kind of assembly table back there. I'm excited for what's happening in here, and that's one of the things I want to talk about tonight is kind of what the new parts of the shop, and the new adventures for the shop are. We're also going to talk about me and some things going on, and how to approach those things. And then we're also going to talk about what the blacksmithing side is going to entail. Hopefully this year, we're adding some other things to this shop and the shop right next door. So we want to talk about that tonight and some future plans. We got future plans on the farm. There's a lot has changed and is going to change on the farm, and I mean a lot. So I want to talk about those things tonight. So if you guys have questions, comments, anything you want to talk about tonight, maybe even a biblical topic or something like that, let me know. We're not going to go, but probably a little past 7:30. I don't know that we'll go as far as 8. But hopefully everybody, again, check with me, make sure you can hear me and see me and that everything is okay, and we'll kind of move forward. Miss not having my buddy here with me, Eli. He's been at church camp all week. Praise the Lord for that, and his willingness to work there. And there's Bill Wheel, and Kyle says putting in 25 tiny houses. Wow. We can't even get one finished. Although, we're going to have to go in and do some video. The vast majority of the electrical is done. All the rough in is done on Eli's house as far as electrical goes. And the plumbers were here today again, and we're working on the drain and the vent and connecting the water supply. So the water supply is connected, all the rough in is done, so the water is pressurized right now in the house, and most of the drains are done and most of the venting is done. So about the only thing left to do in the house plumbing wise is once we get cabinetry in and flooring in, they can come in and put fixtures in, or we can put fixtures in, but they'll go ahead and put the end shut-offs on and everything, and then they'll install the water heater. We're putting in a tankless water heater. We're allowing them to do the venting for that, because they'll be venting through the roof for our drain vents in there for him. We're just basically, these guys are so good, and their price was so reasonable, and they're good friends of mine. Yes, we could have done the plumbing in there. I've been kind of down this past spring and summer, so it's not been something that, and Eli doesn't have the intimate knowledge of plumbing to be able to go in and do it properly. Not that it's a bad thing for him. He's never done to that extent of an entire house. So these guys are great, and they're great people, and I love them dearly. So to have them come in and do the entire house, I know it's going to be done perfectly. I am not going to question anything that is done inside that house. They've already installed the bathtub, got that all plumbed in and everything. So, and they brought it. They went and he said, "This is the tub I want to work with." We said, "Okay," and so we're going with that. So then Eli, once that's done, and Eli gets back, we finish doing the insulation and start on the walls, as far as the wall board, the wall covering. And once the wall covering is on, then we can do final electric and lighting and things like that. And then, bam, we're ready to get him in his house, get those final plumbing pieces put in. We're in searching for cabinetry for the kitchen. Um, there's a thought that we could go over to a buddy's house. He does custom cabinetry, so um, he's talked like he would probably let us go build our cabinets over there for him, for Eli. I say our, but I'm highly involved in it, so it's kind of ours as well. But to go over there and build cabinets for Eli's house. He's already got countertops, so that's good, and his sink. So everything is pretty much ready to go. Is just down to cabinetry and getting the walls covered and the ceiling covered. A few other little odds and ends on carpentry stuff, but then we'll be looking at getting him in. He's trying to get in the next 2 months. Again, we haven't overdone it with him on his house partially because he is funding this all in cash. So essentially everything, nearly everything on this house, he has done with cash, or like some he's put on a Lowe's card and things like that. So I'm proud of him for that. You know, he's not going to owe anybody any money for it. It's going to be awesome for him in the big long run there. There's Bobby, Mr. Robert Lonis at the Treadle Shed, Mr. Pete Fields, if you need help building cabinets, let me know, he says. Buddy, we have depended on you for so many things. I'm going to tell you guys right now, Pete Fields is as quality a man that you will ever come across. He will be very humble to say, now knock it off, and no, no, no. But he has been nothing short of just an absolute friend. Just been great, and I love him dearly. And we try not to misuse him, but he's got so many talents and so many skills, and he's so willing to help, and he's so caring and good to us. It's just hard. I hate to ask him for stuff, but man, he's top notch. There's Gordon, Gaming Midnight Sun. Hey Gordon, how are you? Yeah, the small stuff takes forever when you build a house. That's true. Will Eli do a video soon? Yes, there will be a video soon, and that's one of the other things I want to talk about this evening. Again, we'll have Eli discussion as far as his house goes. These guys came in, did the plumbing. We've got the vast majority of the electric done. We've got a few carpentry things to do. So we're getting ready to make those stretch runs, those home stretch runs for him to get in that house and enjoy it. Yeah, it's taken a while. We haven't done a lot of videos on the house because there hasn't been a lot of activity on the house. And the reason for that is he has really, he saved up some money, and then we buy something, and he save up some more money and pay for this and do for that. So, if you don't have that money already hit, I've got a friend of mine who he got his mother-in-law's home, and they wanted to renovate the whole house, but they literally decided we're not going to do it unless we have cash to do this thing. So they would save the cash to do that thing, and they would do it. Then they would save up cash to do the next thing. And so Eli really, we tried to focus on that, and I think he's to the point now where we can get the finished materials done and the finished labor done. Again, there's some things that we don't want to do, we don't like to do. Some of the things we're going to do anyway, but some of the things that just, we haven't fully decided yet on drywall. I despise drywall. I hate drywall worse than plumbing and drain plumbing. So that's the situation on that. And he's going to do some videos on it. Then we'll go through and go out on the outside and do the insulation and the skirting. So that's all protected underneath there. And just try to get everything ready for the winter. He'll be in this house by Thanksgiving. I don't think there's any reason to believe that he wouldn't be. Pete, Bobby, any of you guys, you want to come knock out the HVAC? I've got another idea on that as far as positioning goes. We got a great deal on a mini split system for his house. It's just a matter of getting it all connected. We've got the disconnects and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'd like to get that done and get some of the ceiling done so we can start putting some lights up. Be nice to have lights in there. But drywall, we may just we may just bite the bullet and do the drywall ourselves. Um, that's just one of those time consuming. If you're not great at it, it can be very frustrating. I'm okay at it, and every time I do it, I get a little bit better. But every time I do it, I swear I'm not going to do it again. But that's just life. Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy. There he is. Drywall's the fun part, and you are a liar. You are a liar if you say drywall's the fun part. You're going to be sarcastic, I'm sure, but no, drywall is not fun. Do not like drywall. Yep, right. Least favorite. Uh, yeah, I mean, we had options as far as heat goes. We talked about he's got a propane tank just outside there that he's going to run his water heater. Yeah, that's basically it, Adam. You guys call it Gyp Rock. It's from Gypsum. Um, so Dana says he had his 90-day review at work, and it went awesome. Fantastic, brother. I've been praying for that. That's great to hear. So yeah, Bill, there's plenty of other possibilities. We even talked about wood stove for heat because we've got woods. He could go out and get wood, but the fact of the matter is, his time away at work, he has Saturday because we don't count Sunday. Sunday is we do some other things, but we just don't we just don't do work on Sunday. Oh, looky there, there's two little mouseses. Go away, or I'm going to put a trap out. I'll get you. Anyway, it's hard to do in an old hog barn to not have rodents around, um, but they're here, and I'll get them taken care of. Pellet stove. We talked about a pellet stove, and while we were talking about all that, one of our friends in church was renovating his home and had mini splits in the house, and they were going to put in central heat and air. And literally, he gave us such a great deal that we bought the one for Eli's house, and then we bought a unit that'll handle 3 splits for this part of the shop. So this part of the shop will have 2 mini splits, one on the fabrication side, one on the wood side, heat and air in both shops. So all 3 pieces of the shop will have heat and air. That'll be, temperature controlled. I would kind of like to have like a wood stove over here because if this is going to be the place where I'm probably just going to be chilling out and just relaxing, or may get my pipe and sit in a chair and make shavings or something like that. So it'd be kind of nice to maybe have a wood stove or a pellet stove or something like that in here. It's also the ambiance kind of thing. Uh, yeah, for his house, the mini split he's got will more than cover it, and it's not overkill either. It's more than enough. So in here, we're going to have the place well insulated, and it's not a massive space. So each of those will cover more than the space that's here. So they'll kind of work together to keep both facilities warm or cool. And we've got the electric for it. One of the things that I've always, maybe this is a downfall to me, but I've always said that if I'm going to go be somewhere, I want to be as comfortable as I can where I'm at, doing what I'm doing. And if I pay a little bit extra in uh, comfort control in my home or where I work, that'll be my sacrifice. I'll give up things elsewhere to be comfortable. Um, part of that due to health stuff, and part of it just, I don't go overboard on a lot of other things, but the one thing I want to make sure is that when I come in my home at the end of the day, I want to be cool in the summer. And when I come home in the middle of the winter, when I've been outside and been cold, I'll I want to I want to be warm. So that's the reason for that, and I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of money for that. Yeah, AC during the gathering. How about that? Or heat, because you guys that have been here for the gathering, it's been cold and it's been hot. We've had really hot. We've had really cold. Some of us have come away from here just completely blistered from the sun, and some of us have come away from here windburnt. Bobby says the 10K unit can do the whole tiny house no problem. And I think you've seen the unit, so I'm pretty confident that you're confident that that unit will take care of it. And like I said, we've got 2 of those for in here for this part of the shop. Bill, Corey. And it's been really Bill. Many times it's been very Bill, like a whole lot of Bill here at the gathering. uh, uh, yeah, so Bill, he's got 2 55-gallon drums for heat battery stores, heat for days. Sure, yeah. I mean, obviously there are more efficient ways to produce heat, but again, I basically insisted in here that we have air conditioning. So yeah, we could probably save a little bit with a different heat source in the winter, but if I've got air conditioning and they'll do heat as well, I've got both units and they're very discreet and they're not noisy, and it's good conditioned heat and cooling, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, like I said, you could do an easier, not easier, but a more efficient way to do it. But this is what I'm using, and this is what I'm going to use. So, so there you go. Yeah, and I'm intrigued by some of those other sources of heat with, pellet stoves and things like that. The mini splits are the beans. Yes, they are. And so, yeah, we've got a big window unit in the main shop, in the blacksmith shop, that's doing pretty good this summer. We're about due for another layer of insulation up in the attic of the shop, and a few other things to kind of tidy up in there to make sure it's a little more efficient. But that box unit has done pretty good in there this summer. The only thing we've noticed is it's a little stuffy in there. There's not a lot of moving air. So we turn a fan on and circulate the air. It's quite comfortable in there. And obviously you the forge and it gets warm. But when you're just in there working, sanding, doing something like that, it's not that big a deal. And I've already noticed I don't even have all the walls up in here, and it's kind of halfway enclosed. I know right now if I had insulation in the ceiling, especially in this area because it's shorter, it would not take much to cool or heat this area at all. So I'm really, really looking forward to being out here and working. We're total in here, we're probably 45% constructed in here. The electric is probably 95%. As far as these 2 shops go, the electric is about 95% done. Just a few other things. Bill says, oh, here we go. A lockable whirlybird helps cooling in the heat, then lock it down for the winter. Huh, well, there you go. I will say MLWJ's greenhouse can have the exhaust fan running when it's 0 outside and the sun shining. The fan is still set at 90. Yeah, our greenhouse still stays pretty warm. We've got plans for the greenhouse this fall and winter to go ahead and grow a second crop and maybe even a third and get some starters going for next year. The sign came from my buddy Tracy, who's been here to the gathering. Some of you guys might remember Tracy, my bestest good friend, man. And that was my Christmas present from him. And I was trying to figure out where to put it. We actually had it for the gathering, but it was in the house. I didn't want to get it messed up. So when I got this wall done, Eli, I said, oh man, that would go really good right there. And then we thought, this backdrop, when it's all said and done, when we have our sit and chats or unboxings, things like that, this is a really cool setting. And then we got a Wi-Fi extender today, and I plugged it in, got full bars out here. I don't know how the stream is coming through, whether it's good quality or not. Kind of hoping you guys. Adam says, no, sorry, I don't remember Tracy. Or would go. Yeah, there you go. Brenda, Freedom Redbird, hey, how are you? Yeah, Tracy. It's fantastic. Oh, good. The stream is strong. That's good to hear. Yeah, Bill, we're going to do some spray foam in some places to kind of clean things up and fill in some gaps. Uh, so yeah, I mean, this is great, and I'm looking forward to my wood bench over there. You guys are going to get a when we're a lot closer to finished, we're going to get a more overview of what the shops are going to be like, and we'll kind of go around, get videos of that. And that brings me to our second topic, which is just about baking a clock. I don't know if that's our second topic or third topic. Um, Before I get to that, I'll talk about a little bit about my situation. And for those of you who know, I just came through and in recovery from some surgery for melanoma. It was kind of extensive. It went pretty deep, and uh, thankfully did not cause any other problems. It did not spread, as far as they know. Um, I don't have to have any other treatment. The surgery, they're pretty confident surgery got everything, so I don't have to have any chemo or radiation, anything like that. Um, it's just we're still trying to find out. There's still some other health things that I'm kind of battling a little bit, that they're trying to figure out why certain things are happening. I don't feel that terrible, but basically late spring and summer, I just have not had the go that I really like to get. And I get it. I'm getting a little bit older, a little chunkier, or whatever. But um, I think once I get past this and get recovered here, I haven't been doing a whole lot on the farm, so um, I think maybe this will be the upswing for all of that kind of stuff. And Bill said, "Free bird." Uh, and Adam says, "Melanoma fun." I'm surprised that they aren't doing prophylactic chemo. They were really, really. When I talked to the oncologist Monday, he says we are really confident that we got it all, and that we didn't have to go any further than that, and they're really confident it did not spread. So I don't know, but I will encourage you guys in a couple different ways. In that, if you are out in the sun a lot, or you're even susceptible to it, I'm not going to lecture you on it. You guys know sunscreen is a wise thing. They did tell me that anything over 30 SPF doesn't do any more. If you're putting a 50 or a 70 on, they said the key to that is reapplying, and reapplying often. And we often forget, things like the ears and the tip of the nose and things like that. Uh, so again, I'd encourage you guys to really pay attention to that. The other thing, wearing a good wide-brimmed hat, that's a smart thing to do. Uh, I did find out that there are many of these different kinds of skin cancers as well, and they described them all. And like the one on the side of my nose, they said it is in situ and is a specific kind, and they said it is hereditary, very likely. And I said, well, that's very interesting, because my father had one in the exact same spot, and then I had one under my eyebrow, and they took that one off, and it was clear. I mean, it had cancer cells in it, but they took it, and that was it. They knew that was gone. This one, they had to do surgery, but my dad had one here, and he had one on the side of his nose. Uh, and that's the one that my daughter said, hey, you need to go get checked out. The one on my arm, which ended up being the worst, um, that she said it could be from exposure, but it looked more like, you talk about these dark ones and they change shape and stuff like that. Uh, Really, this one looked like a welder burn that just wouldn't heal. It was just kind of an ugly thing. And then they said, no, that's the worst one. I thought, man, I got this mole over here, this thing over here, that they're going to get me for that. And so really what they said was, yes, definitely, you need to, uh, Dana, take care, buddy. Love you, man. You need to get checked out and be checked quite often. But some of the stuff is, I won't say not preventable, but you're already pretty susceptible to it. And so each one of us has our own susceptibilities to those kinds of things. So was it was on my left arm. That is correct. That is correct, Adam. The bad one was on my left arm, just above my wrist. And I'll show it to you. I don't know how well you can see that, but there it is. And that had to have a skin graft that they took from here and put over top of that. And it looks a lot better now than what it did. And when I came out of surgery, I was wrapped all the way down to my hand, and they didn't want me doing anything. Um, driver's melanoma, yeah, put the left arm out for the other side of the globe in some places with the right arm. We call it trucker arm. Um, the old guys, a lot of truckers had that kind of thing going on. Of course, being farming and things like that. So, lecture time. I'm not going to get into that. You guys are all grown folk, and you can decide to do what you want with your bodies, with your lives. And I just, I pray that God watches over you. I know some of our friends that have already had both melanoma and some other kinds of cancer, and we prayed for them. And so there's that. Health-wise, I've just really kind of tried to keep an eye on that this year and try to find a way to get healthier. I'm down to basically just 2 stomach pills and a very, 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 very low dose of blood pressure medicine. It's not bad at all. And hi, Gail. How are you? Hope everyone's doing good. Got some questions about some forging, so we'll get to those in just 1 minute as soon as I'm done on this. But again, I appreciate every single one of you guys. I've had tons of you guys texting and sending messages and checking on things and see how we're doing. And man, what an amazing community to be able to check in on each other and watch over each other. And where I have fallen short with that, please accept my apologies that I have not been checking on everybody as much as I would like to. But I love every single one of you. You guys are so special to me. Curtis Ellerhorst says, I've been in the sun all my life. I worry about it. I wouldn't worry about it. Just make the appointment. Worst case scenario, they tell you, or best case scenario, they tell you, hey, watch your sun exposure, or we'll take this little skin tag or that mole, or you're fine. Worst case scenario, they'll tell you waited way too long and it's spread. So get the appointment. Get the appointment made, and get it taken care of. That's my biggest suggestion. It is important. It is important to do that. It's important to take care of yourself. On another note, Bill Corey says, at the Hendricks County Fair, elephant ears were $10. That's a lot of dough for not a lot of dough. Yeah. Yep. Reapply. That's exactly the key there, Adam. Reapply. Okay, so Gail says they have some blacksmithing questions or forging questions. So jump right in and ask about the forging questions. We'll do the very same. In the meantime, Eric says my family is cancer free. However, I find next week when I get to have heart surgery. There again, it's those things that we're all kind of thinking about, susceptible to. Oh shoot! All right. So yeah, Gail, ask your question. In the meantime, I'll kind of open up a little bit of other topic for what's going on here. Again, we've talked about shop-wise. There's 2 reasons why we have added on to the shop and we have more kind of going on in the shop. Pete, you take care. Fat guy's got to eat. Me too. I'm going in a little bit. 2 reasons. Number 1, we kind of outgrew the shop, and I've always wanted a wood shop. Well, we started gaining a few fabrication tools, and I thought I'd really love to be able to fabricate stuff. I like fabricating. I'm not great at it, but I like creating and fabricating, and it kind of does go along with the blacksmithing side of things. And I thought, we've got space. Not a huge amount, but we've got a pretty good amount of space here. Why not go ahead and add on? The plasma table is kind of plateaued a little bit, but again, Eli, with summer and everything going on, we're getting ready to crank back up on that. Our hope is we've got our eyeballs on a little bit bigger machine uh, to add our capabilities with the plasma table, um, to do a little bit more with that, because I think that will be one that we can start gradually increasing our income with. Um, and that has really been part of our understanding and our goal for this year because of point number two. um, because of the way things currently are in farming, we are on 100 acres and 85 of it approximately is tillable, if that. Um, in today's world, hello, Other Troy. In today's world, it's not sustainable. You see, for example, I just paid a $7,000 bill for a repair on a piece of equipment. Now, $7,000, if I made money this year, that's gone. Generally, we haven't been making money because we've had to recoup a lot of stuff. Um, and you know, we haven't been able to get people to combines, so we had to buy combines. We hadn't planned on doing that. And just uh, those kinds of things have caused a pretty big struggle over the last 5 years or so. And the way prices are on the expense side and prices are on the income side, we just said we don't need to lose money on purpose. We can do it on accident. Friends of ours in our church, incredible farmers, great farmers, they have a volume of acreage that we don't have. The guys that are farming 300 or 400 or 500 acres are using the same equipment we're using, but that also means that their possibility for income is multiples of ours. So if they get a $7,000 bill, it hurts, but it doesn't end their season for them. For us, it's a killer. And we had a couple years where it was a lot more than $7,000, a lot more than $7,000. So you know, you just lose. And when these guys can come in who farm thousands of acres and can say, okay, well, that 85 acres didn't do great this year, we're okay because the other couple thousand, 2,000 to 3,000 or more acres made up for it. Whereas if this farm does great, that's a bonus, that's an add-on for them. So we've leased it out to them for kind of an extended period of time, and therefore we don't need all that equipment. So we made a decision. We are not doing row crop farming. And what I mean by row crop farming, um, let me stop for a second and I'll answer Gail's question. We'll get back. Gail says, so I'm semi new to making knives. I want to learn to make Damascus. What thickness of metal should be starting out with, in your opinion, sir? How thick should I make the stack to be? Well, I'm not a big guy on Damascus. There's some other fellows in here who know a lot more about Damascus and knife making. I have made one item of Damascus, and I did a very low layer Damascus. I think only about 32 layers or something like that, maybe more. I don't know, but it was a very low layer Damascus, um, and really, it really depends on the material you're using. I think if you're going to start making a billet, to make your billet square or flat, but I would say if you're doing a square billet, 1 by 1, 1 inch by 1 inch. If you're doing a flat billet, I would make it about. You want to work it down to about 1/4 inch. As far as your stack goes, that's up to you. Stack it up as thick as you want, as many layers as you want, and what that will do is, if you've got a big, stack that's this thick and that long, you start drawing that out after you've folded it 4 or 5 times. You start drawing that out. That's a lot of material, and as you draw that out, those layers of pattern welded steel will have different design and different look to them as they're stretched out. So, yeah, really, I would go to people like Sam Towns, you know, plenty of other guys out there who are more Damascus oriented and knife making oriented than I am. I am definitely a ornamental blacksmith, not a good one, but I'm ornamental. I enjoy doing it, um, but I certainly wouldn't refer to myself as a teacher or a pro of blacksmithing. Um, it's just something we do that we really enjoy, and we make some money at it. And I want to learn more every day that I'm doing it, and hopefully I do. Um, yeah, so I hope that helps. But I would go check out people like Sam Towns. Sam Towns. He's in Australia. Our buddy Adam at Speargrass Forge knows him quite well, so you can connect with Adam if you like to. There's plenty of other guys out there who do a great job. You can go to, uh, Will is really good on the Damascus side. You could go to, I'll tell you, somebody you could talk to easily who deals with it a lot and is very humble about it is Kenny Slaustis at Metal Man Productions. Metal Man Productions. Kenny's a good guy, and I love Kenny, and he's very humble about his work and does some really good work. Uh, yeah, yeah, I would say Sam, Kenny. Uh, if you want to watch some of the bigger guys, there's plenty of them out there, and you can do the whole History Channel show and check on some of those guys as well. Yeah, I had to say it. Uh, Barr Forge, you're not ornamental. You're functional. I'm barely functional, dude. Thank you. I appreciate that, Justin, very much so. Um, but it's humbling every time I go see somebody like a Bill Corey or somebody like that who does, and I watch some of Bobby Lannis's work. Bobby is an artiste, man. He is just amazing, and Bill has practiced his craft so well that he has um, these techniques down really really well, and he's a guy who's I think the biggest thing here, guys, and to Gail, if I'll say anything, be teachable. Um, be teachable. I think that's the biggest thing. Artiste. Yep. Uh, yeah, and Kenny doesn't mind. If you go to Metal Man Productions, Kenny would be more than happy to share. And again, you'll have to pry it out of him because he's a humble guy. He'll just think, "Why are you asking me?" And I just love. That's one of the things I love about Kenny. If you got a guy who just says, "Yeah, I'll tell you everything there is to know about Damascus and knife making stuff," don't go to that guy because you'll never learn from him. You'll learn from people who are humble and say, this is the way I do it, not this is the way you have to do it, or you're an idiot. I can't stand those people. Perfect timing. There comes Kenny right there. Buddy, we were just bragging on you, man, because we love you and you do great work, and I think you do a great job of kind of helping people along. Be teachable, but also realize that someone's teaching style may not suit your style. That's a very good point, and I'd like to speak to that. Bobby from Dogbone, there's another guy who makes some really good knives. I don't know how much Damascus he does, but I know he does a great job with knives as well. So there's plenty of guys in here in the chat that I would say definitely check out and go watch and get a hold of. They're very very um, reachable. Um, so Adam says, not everybody's teaching style may suit your learning style, and I totally agree. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm doing great, Kenny. Thank you so much. Uh, we were just talking about how fantastic you were at what you do and how humble you are about what you do. Um, you know, I I know there's some guys that are a big Brian Brazil, Ed Brazil fans, and the information from a guy like Brian or Ed, especially Brian, and I'll say this way, as very um, kind as I possibly can, because I want to build them up in this way. Their knowledge of smithing and the science and their technique behind smithing is phenomenal. I mean, Alex Steele went to Brian Brazil to learn the Brian Brazil method, and he was willing to take the Brian Brazil punishment because Brian is not an easy guy to learn from for a lot of people. And then when people do learn from him, they love the techniques. And some guys have learned the techniques. And again, please understand, on Brian and Ed, this is no way, shape, or form a bash because Ed's been in this shop. I've spent time with Ed and Brian. Love the guys. I love them. And I love hanging out with them. I love watching them work. Their end product is tremendous. But I would struggle spending learning time with a guy like Brian from my personal learning style. Not particularly because of him. It's just that particular style, as Adam says. Um, yeah, absolutely. And you know, a guy like Roy, now you may go take a class from Roy, and some of you may come away going, I have no idea what he's talking about. And some of you come away and say, man, he did great work, but I didn't catch any of that. And some of you may come away and thinking, man, I just soaked up all kinds of great information, and that was fantastic. Again, Roy's got a different teaching style than most everybody else. And, you know, his teaching style really kind of, he and I suit together pretty well on the teaching style and learning style. Um, he may not say that I don't listen very well. I don't know. I don't know what he'll say about that. But I enjoy smithing with Roy. So I enjoy that. Some of the other guys that I've been around, you know, I honestly, and I'm not blowing smoke here. I think Bill Corey is an incredibly underrated blacksmithing teacher. I think Bill, you could teach blacksmithing to just about anybody, um, and I believe that wholeheartedly. And there's some other guys out there who are tremendous at it. Um, uh, you know, let's think about some other people in the teaching side of things who instruct, um, who have different styles but come to this kind of the same result. How I initially learned, because I kind of jumped in the middle of the whole COVID thing, is by watching John Switzer at Black Bear Forge. And basically, I'll say, I love the way he teaches, and I love the way he instructs online. And the reason for that is, and again, this is total praise to John. I would love to go hang out with him. Uh, he is blacksmithing PBS. You're not gonna laugh a lot. You're not gonna be super entertained, but at the end of the day, you're gonna learn the technique. You're gonna be comfortable doing it, and I think he's great. I think he's great at the teaching side of things. For me, I think my way to learn, he does a great job at it. Torbjorn, the dude can do a video and never say a word, and you can learn how to do it, and he does amazing work as well. Find a way to find somebody whose learning style, whose teaching style and learning style match up. Uh, Absolutely, Gail. John is great at that. I learned. Yeah, every time you're around Bill Corey, you learn something. Some things are good, and some things are Bill Corey. Love that dude. Uh, yeah, and then you can learn from those who learn from Brazil. For example, you know, you can go to the Andrew Larsons and the guys like that, the Jonathan Pinkston. You know, sit and watch Jonathan Pinkston work sometime and teach could be challenging for people. I love Jonathan. I think he's a neat guy, and I think he does great work. And I would like learning from him there. But you better be prepared because Jonathan is going to tell you every physics equation that goes with every swing of every hammer. He knows the science of it. He knows the math of it all, and he is super knowledgeable about blacksmithing. He knows his stuff, man. It's just amazing. You don't know how to shempa. Sure you do. Oh man, that dude right there is another one who's just a great teacher. Uh, Practice, practice, practice. That's exactly it. And Mr. Brian from the Vineyard Farmhouse. Uh, hope you've got your protection up around your house now to avoid any other refrigerator incidences. Uh, so there you go. I think that's my take on the whole uh, blacksmithing, schooling, and things like that. So let's get back to um what's going on here on the farm. We're selling all our equipment minus a few things. Maybe a little bit of the hay equipment we'll keep behind. We're going to sell all that stuff. We're going to buy a brand new tractor uh, that's got a warranty and all that kind of fun stuff. And we'll probably just focus on maintaining the property and doing a little bit of hay work. We've got some hay ground here, um, so that's the main thrust of right now. We've got about 6 years in our lease to really make our final decision. At the end of that 6 years, if it looks like we can support the farm and make a little bit of money, we have the opportunity to get back in, and we've got the support from other people to help us out in that endeavor. So um, that's the that's the thing. That's the plan. We're going to have about a 75 to 80 horse tractor with a cab and a loader, and be able to do third function and stuff like that. It's sad. It really is sad. It was a very, very tough decision. Something I have been contemplating for over a year, and the winter really, really wore on me about doing this, and so we just made the decision as a family, um, and really it came down to, if I'm going to go out and do it, because it's a majority me, because of Eli's work schedule, you know, and lose money or just barely break even, and my health is important. So I don't want to spend the rest of my days beating and banging and clanging underneath equipment, and with the threat of getting hurt by that stuff, and to lose money or barely break even, when we'll know what we get from the lease, and if we want to work a little bit of hay, maybe graze some animals back on the pasture, we can do that, and this opens that up. I have since gotten a lot more at ease with the decision, and this also opens it up to the blacksmith shop, the fabrication shop, and the wood shop, to where now these are the things that I can do in a controlled, semi-controlled environment, and I thoroughly enjoy these things. It's not like I'm giving up farming to do something I don't like doing. I love doing the things that I do on the craft side of things, on the maker side of things. So this one really, um, well, Kenny, you deserve it, buddy. Um, yeah, and Brian, they have a vineyard with grapes, and he and I have talked about this, and we've been here for 120 years, and then a 9-year period where we weren't on the farm, and then all the way back to the Virginia Military Survey. So there's been a over 200 years of our family here on this farm, continuously farming the farm. We're not going to stop that. It's just a matter of our ground that is for soybeans, wheat, and corn. Someone else is doing that work. When it comes to the other property, part of the property, we're still going to be doing all that stuff. And again, we'll have the chickens. We're gonna up our ante in some of the gardening and the chickens and rabbits. We may graze some animals in the back, uh, and I made a little bit of a a little bit of a thing happened over the weekend. I was at an auction for a friend of mine, and things were not going well for the auction. And they came to it's this two great big excavators, one bigger than the other. And the first excavator didn't go for much money, and I felt terrible for them. And the next one came up, and they couldn't get a bid on it. Now, I grew up in an auctioneer owning family. My grandpa owned an auction company, so I spent a lot of time around auctions, and I know how it goes. Somebody's got to get the bidding started. So they weren't getting any bids on it, and they got down to $5,000. And this is a 65,000-pound excavator or more. And I said, well, $5,000. I knew they put $8,000 in the motor, so I knew the guys that were around were like going to be, oh yeah, well now he's got to start at 5,000. Here we go. So I bid 5,000. I walked away and started talking to a buddy of mine. They didn't get any more bids. So I just bought a very large excavator. And then I had to figure out how to break the news to the rest of the family, my wife and everybody. And they've been wanting a pond for a very long time here on the property. And I said, when she got on the phone, she said, "Well, did you buy anything?" I said, "Remember how you've been wanting a pond for a really long time?" Now we're going to get one. So it's going to come in very, very handy. I've got fence rows to clear out, some other areas that needed to be, excavated for a long time. If I get those jobs done and build the pond, that $5,000 has been more than worth it. Uh, I didn't intend to buy a big excavator, but now we got one, and I was like, okay, well, it needed a couple things on the hydraulic side of things. I was like, man, who can I get? We got a guy in our church that's what he does for a living, and he's like, yeah, I'll go take a look at it and take care of it for you. And I was like, well, how am I going to get a 60,000 pound machine over here or more? And while I was standing there, the guy next to me said, well, I got a triaxle trailer. I'll just bring it over to the farm. It's only 4 miles away. The auction was 4 miles away. He's like, it'll take me longer to load it and we'll get here. So anyway, great big piece of equipment is coming this way. Yeah, that's a heck of a power hammer, is it not? Or a forge press. The new toy is not green. It is red. Now, the new tractor, I'm not going to reveal that yet. I can promise you that it is not a particular color green that is the expensive color green. It's not that one. I can guarantee you that. In fact, that name will probably never ever be on this property. But anyway, I'll do a reveal on that some other time. I'll not let that one go yet. So yeah, a lot of things are changing here. The 3 shops are going to. The hope is by the end of the year, the 3 shops will be in such a position as we will actually start to make money as a business side by the end of the year. That we will actually be done enough, and the sale of some of the equipment is going to go to improvements in the buildings and the improvements in the shop, and maybe a couple pieces of equipment for the shop. So, well, yeah, Adam, it's really tough to not buy anything that's Chinese nowadays, but I think I've gotten around that. Red, not Komatsu. The big machine is a Keuring. I think that's how you spell it, or say it. Koering. If you want to look it up, it is a Keuring 366. 366. So that'll show you how big a machine it is. A Keuring 366. So if you look that up, that'll tell you what's coming here to Barr Run Forge, and then we also have a brand new tractor coming very soon. And that may be the end of it as far as equipment goes this year, but we'll see how things go. I still have some more pieces of equipment to sell. All but one of the Deutsch tractor, well, the little tiny tractor is probably going to stay, but all of one of the Deutsch tractors have been sold. Still trying to get that one sold. Well, Massey Ferguson is one of our options. This is one of the options for the red. As far as the tractors go, Massey Ferguson and Mahindra are the 2 largest selling tractors in the world globally. Mahindra and Massey Ferguson sell more tractors than anybody else. It's amazing. You would think, like Case IH or the other green is the most, but not even close. So there you go. So that's the deal with the farm. Again, the farm's not going anywhere. Things are changing a little bit. And there'll be some new buildings and things like that, some new improvements here in these shops. I'm excited about this spot right here. I'm excited because tonight I was able to do the live stream from right here. We're going to do some more things with this area. Chances are this wall is going to be covered with antique tools, axes and adze and all that kind of fun stuff. That's where all of this will go. Ben, brother, God bless you, man. I appreciate that. Okay. Bill says, love you, man. Going to go out and sit on the bench with MLWJ. Well, God bless you, man. And give her a hug. We love her as well. And can't wait to see you guys again. Bill, there's the other side. Before you go, I'm making plans to come see some of you people. and this will also open that up because the farm did consume a great deal of my time. So I would like to get where I can go visit my very, very dear friends. We're going to close out here really quick because my wife's going to have supper at 7:45, somewhere around that range. So if you are leaving, God bless you. I love you guys. You're so special to me, and Eli. And Eli will be back with us next week. We may be forging, depending. And then the following Thursday, we will be at the Ohio Valley Antique Machinery Show for our anniversary live stream. And things have definitely changed there for the better. Uh, Stay tuned, guys. We took our little bit of a break, June, July, to kind of catch our breath and all the stuff that's going on here. Basically, following the gathering, we've had a lot of stuff going on. So now that that is kind of settling down, we are getting ready to do some really cool stuff here in the shop and on the property. Stay tuned. There are going to be videos going out, and we are going to get back into the Sundays at 7 and podcasts and things like that. If we get back into the podcast, guys, it's going to be by your doing. We need the views, we need the listens from you guys. So if we're going to get back into doing the podcast, which we love doing, we had a great time doing it. It just has to be worth our while because it is time. Okay. So anyway, go check out a Curing 366. That'll tell you what's coming to the farm. And maybe you guys can give me a total weight on that thing and tell me exactly how much it weighs. I'll probably be doing the research on that. And look forward to some really cool preview videos of what's going on in here in the 3 shops. And man, I'm so thrilled. I'm so excited. I definitely didn't want this to be any kind of downer live stream. I wanted to be excited and let you know I'm excited about what is to come. I'm excited about the improvements in my health and what is to come for Barr Run Forge. I'm excited to have you guys with us. I'm excited every time you guys come in, check it out, and what kind of love and support you guys get for us. Man, God bless you all, and we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye. I'll see you.